Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday and I just got into my classroom after being out yesterday with this, so I had a sub in my room. My room is a little bit messy, so we had some issues with ink, like an ink pad for stamping, and there's ink on my stage. Ay, 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 caramba. When I leave, my babies fall apart. So we're gonna have to work on that today. I have 3 really big tasks that I have got to get done today. One is something called PVOS, which I don't completely understand all the way. It is a way to hold teachers accountable. I guess in the state of Pennsylvania, we did not have this in Alabama. And what they do is they look at the hours. So how many minutes was the child with you for that instruction? So I guess like intervention kids like come into play and stuff there. So I have to finish my PVOS report, send those out, and then I have to get conference folders ready and conference reports. So anything that has to do with my conferences tomorrow afternoon. We have a half day, so I need to get conference stuff together. And then I also have to grade my writing assessments. So 3 really big things. And when we have 3 really big things on top of having to teach all day, it is extremely stressful. So I am very stressed right now. I may be growing a couple of gray hairs very soon. I am working on that top 3 stuff that I need to get done today. It's really beneficial if you have an idea of what are the top 3 items that you want to get done today. It's like a David Allen thing. So you list out your top 3. These are the top 3 things that you have to get done in the day. When you get those 3 done and you have more time available, then you can start tackling some of your like task list, things that are not like on a certain day type deal. So because I have all of these things due tomorrow, these 3 things needed to get done today. I've already completed my PVOS. I sent it out to the other teachers that have to kind of fill in their times. So I've done that this morning. I have gone as far as creating like file folders with the names of the kids that I am meeting their parents tomorrow for a conference. I'm gonna have to kind of collect certain things and information and start filing and putting them in there, and then finish their conference reports as well. So I'm doing that, and then the other thing that was on my top 3 list was my grades for my writing assessment. So I have to get those done today. So I'll pull those out in just a minute and get started on those before hopefully the kids show up. I don't have a meeting today, which is really nice because that means that I can actually take the time to be able to get some of this stuff done, which is always really helpful. Like so helpful when you have time in the morning to be able to do things. I have my morning message up this morning. I can show you what it looks like. Hold on. It says, "Good morning, learners. Our book clubs are coming to an end. Today and tomorrow we are spending time discussing our books in our groups. Books open up a world that is hard to find in real life. Be thinking about the main character this morning and what he or she has experienced in the book. Be ready to share during morning meeting." And then I just put a little graph of, would you read your book again? Yes or no? So that's what they're going to come in and do this morning. So I am starting to come to a realization that I think I just give a lot of work. Maybe my expectations are too high. I mean, I don't know. I thought that, you know, maybe you should have high expectations and want those kids to reach them, but apparently none of my kids are reaching them, so I need to try again. So I have rethought my learner targets, and here's what I'm going to do now. I'm all about the change, y'all. Like, if you have not noticed, if I'm gonna change it until it works and until it's right. And I'm not changing like the tasks, if that makes sense. I'm just gonna move some things around. So now what they're gonna do is, because we have a peanut butter and a jelly group, so like when we do STEM, we call it peanut butter jelly time instead of STEM time. And so then we do groups by peanut butter and jelly for writing and for science. So I teach writing twice a week, and then she teaches science twice. Okay, so here's what I was thinking. I think that we have this peanut butter and jelly time, and that is kind of our writing and science. So I teach writing 2 days, she teaches science 2 days a week, and then Fridays is typically our STEM days where peanut butter and jelly come together, hence the peanut butter and jelly. So I told my kids, I was like, listen, what we'll do, and I'll have the targets fixed for next week, but there will be peanut butter targets and then there will be jelly targets. Because I meet with peanut butter on Mondays and Wednesdays, I meet with jelly on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If they come to me for writing that day, they will not have to do independent writing because they're already doing writing within my class time. If they do not have me for writing that day, they are not required to do a skill, but they are required to do an independent writing, if that makes sense. So they're kind of flip-flopping. And then on Fridays, we're gonna just make it the catch-up day where they're just catching up on work, and then they're gonna have enrichment time. So here's why I really wanted to do this, because my school got some little robots. And I'm a little bummed out, and I am one of those people that I just want to have one for me, and it's probably really awful to say that, but like, let's just be honest, how many of us want to share things? I don't want to share, and I'm a little bummed out because everybody has, we only have like a couple of them, we don't have a ton. Everybody has a Dash, and I only got the Dot, and I didn't realize that the Dot doesn't even move, but it's super cute, and I'm gonna show him to you. So let me show him to you, and so you can see what he looks like. He's so cute. Okay, so I have an app on the iPad that will do some things with them, and so it's like a Wonder Workshop, but they have like, so they have a bigger one that's called Dash. This one is called Dot, and they move and they do stuff, and it has to do with like coding and programming and things like that, and which is so cool. And I really want a Dash. Okay, so I can make him do stuff, and here's what I've made him do so far. But he doesn't move, which is a bummer. So let me see if I can throw some other things away. You can make some light. I think I can do that. I don't know. Look, I don't know if I can do any of this because he doesn't do any of it. Uh-oh, see, he doesn't do that because he's not a Dash. But it's like programming. So here's what the little program looks like. And they have like things that they can do, So they have things that they can do, and you have to just kind of code it and put it in there. What would be so cool is if I could almost create like a little obstacle course, and then as the kids are going through this obstacle course and they get to certain points, they have to complete something that is like reading or language arts or something, like it has to do with something like that. So they'll have to answer something, and that's kind of what I want to do. And then I want them to be able to take the screenshot of how they completed that course and what did the steps that they do to get there, and upload that to their Seesaw account. My desk is a hot mess. Yes, I know, I'm so sorry, but he is the cutest little thing ever. Look at that. Hey, talk to me. It does talk. It will say things that are really sweet to you. Are you gonna talk to me? I don't think he wants to. But I really want this. I actually really want a Dash. Dash and Dot are supposed to work together to do things. And I don't have a Dash. So here's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about, because I am just a needy person and I really want to have one, because I think that this will help motivate my kids to want to get some of their work done. It's nice because it does have that coding piece, which is really beneficial, especially nowadays for where our lifestyles are going. Like, there's such a big need for coding now. So I think I'm gonna just do a donor's choose, and if I do a donor's choose, I will leave a link down below to it if you want to help me out and get me one of these so that I can use it in my classroom. But I cannot spend the money on this. There's just no flipping way I can spend the money on this. Anyways, I absolutely love this little guy. He is so stinking cute and sweet. Aw, did you see him blink? He's so cute. But I'm gonna just do a donor's choose and see if I can get one through donor's choose, so I can get a Dash and put them inside of my classroom. But so Friday will be more of like that enrichment day, where if they get the other two things done, which is pretty much reading and word studying, then they're gonna get the opportunity to be able to work on their passion projects, and then there will be a rotation for working with like dash and dots. So for those kids who want to be able to do that, if I end up getting a dash, hopefully I will. I'm gonna cross my fingers that I get a dash. So that's kind of my idea for Fridays, but I do want to have a little bit more of that passion, that love for wanting to explore in something that they really enjoy, because they're applying all of the skills that I'm teaching them to the things that they're passionate about. I need them to see that connection of how you are, these skills that I'm teaching you are going to be able to help you when it comes to researching things that you love and finding out information and, you know, doing some of that research and things like that. Like, there's reasons why I'm teaching you this, and I want them to understand and be able to see that connection. So I'm gonna compromise here and I'm going to flip-flop those 2 days, get rid of those 2 on Friday, and then give them the opportunity to have more time with more enrichment. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna start that next week, and then I'm gonna like re-edit the, what are they called? Like their learner targets that they have, and then I'm gonna re-edit a like checklist that I have, so that on the days, like if it's Monday, I'm gonna have like columns for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for each of them, and have, I guess, pages for each one. I'll show you guys once I get it done. But I'm gonna redo a checklist so that if it's like a peanut butter day, then theirs is going to be blocked off, so that they don't, so when I'm checking, I don't think, oh, they were supposed to have it turned in, when really no, they weren't, because they weren't supposed to do that day. I'll show it all to you once I figure it out. But yes, other than that, everything's going really well. Their groups are going really well. They're understanding the information. We're continuing to work on text structures, so we're adding to text structure slowly but surely. We're doing some sorting activities. So what did we do? We talked about revising and then adjectives and adverbs, so they did a sorting activity with that, which was really nice. And then I really want to talk to you guys about some like moving around activities that you can do with your kids, like during small groups or during whole groups, to get them being able to like be more, work together and talk more together versus you constantly doing everything for them. I want to talk to you guys about that, but we're gonna get to that a little bit later, hopefully. So I only have about 10 minutes. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to get something else to drink, because I have read aloud, then 2 groups. So I will talk to you guys later. It is the end of the day. I look like a hot mess, and it's just gonna have to live. I'm ready for this week to be over. I have a 3-day weekend this weekend. The kids have a half a day tomorrow, so I have conferences in the afternoon. I know I've said this 1,000 times, but they're stressing me out. I'm so sorry. I was going through one of my closets and found this today. And I was like, you know what? I don't really talk about math that much. Mainly because I don't really teach math anymore, but I still have a ton of stuff from math that I did when I was in kindergarten. And one of the things that I took away from being in kindergarten was number talks, and I absolutely love number talks. It is a great way for kids, for you to see how kids are actually thinking, which I think is really important. And it's important for other kids to see how kids are looking and thinking about numbers. So here's what I had. So in kindergarten, I had these little laminated number cards that I stuck on a ring. And the reason I did this versus me either drawing it or me having it up on the smart board, because I know that there are versions, look at that hair, I know that there are versions that you can like do the ones like on the smart boards. I didn't want to do that because my kids actually had this as a choice for when they were in math, and I really liked being able to see how my kids would do this together with partners, and I would have them kind of go out once they got kind of used to it, and that was typically about the second half, you know, of the year. But they would get used to number talks, and they would do that with their friends and have in their partner time during math, and it was phenomenal. So I chose to keep some on rings, and then the numbers varied. So I had some that were obviously bigger numbers, and then it went down to some of the lower numbers. I also had these, which before I became like really savvy, like this was like way back when I first started teaching, I did them in dots. I used like actual for real dots, and I created these. And then they also have these which look like this. on the back. So I had a bunch of these like sitting in a basket. I would only do about like 2 or 3 of these a day. And I would just sit in front of my kids and I said, okay, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to think really, really hard. I'm gonna show you some dots and I want you to think about what number it is. Just think about what number it is. When you know what number it is, I want you to give me a thumbs up just to show me that you're ready. So as soon as I did that, I would say, okay, I'm gonna do it really quick. We're gonna have about 5 seconds. And then I want you to keep it in your head. Don't call it out. So as soon as I did that, I would show the number, just go real slow, give them about 5 seconds, going all the way across, and then I would hide it. And then I would call on a few students. I would say, so-and-so, what number did you see? And they would tell me. Now, if they said 3, I would say, did anyone see any other numbers? And so then I would open up the floor to other numbers. Now, as I love that little robot. I really want a Dash. So what I would do is I would have my kids in a carpet. I'm gonna start over. So I would have my kids in a carpet, like all in a circle, so everyone could see me. And so I would be sitting on the floor with them and I say, okay, today we're gonna do a number talks. And what I'm gonna do is I have a number on this card and I'm gonna show it to you for only 5 seconds. When you figure out what number you have, I want you to give me a thumbs up. And you have to try really, really, really hard to not say that number. So if you're one that's gonna blur it out, I want you to go ahead and just do this. And so as soon as you know that number, give me a thumbs up and just show me that you're ready. Give me a straight, tall back, sit up, and give me that thumbs up to show me that you're ready and you know exactly what number that is. So I told them, I said, okay, you can't blur it out. Don't blur it out. Put your mouth. I said, you have 5 seconds. And then I would show them the number like that. And then I would put it out back and I'd say, okay, so-and-so, what number did you see? And so let's say it was, Jamie says the number 4. Now, here's the thing with number talks is you can't really have like facial expressions. You have to be very. Then I would say, did anyone else see any other number? And so then let's say that Bridget saw 3. Did anyone see any other numbers? All right, so once I had all those numbers up, then I would say, okay, I'm gonna show you this number again and I want you to think really hard about it this time. And I'm gonna leave it up this time. And I want you to think really hard about what that number is. Okay, here it is. Remember, don't blur it out, keep it up. And then I would show them the number. And then as soon as that goes, I would see those little thumbs up go all over again. And then I would say, okay, Jamie, do you want to change your answer or do you still think it's 4? And Jamie would say, no, I want to change my answer. Okay. Bridget, do you want to change your answer or do you still think it's 3? I want to leave my answer. Okay. Trent, do you want to change your answer or do you still think it's 5? And he would say, no, I want to change my answer. Hopefully they would all change their answers. If they don't change their answers, then you're going to have to let them think about it. Then I would say, okay, now I want to say, how did you see the number 3? How did you see the number 3? And some of them will just say, oh, I counted it. Fantastic. So how did you count it? And then I would draw the dots and they would say, oh, well, I did 1, 2, 3. And somebody else would say, oh, but I counted it this way. 1, 2, 3. Some would say, I counted it this way. 1, 2, 3. Those are all different ways of counting because of the directionality. Then we would say, let's say I picked Luke. And Luke said, well, I didn't count it like that. And I would say, Luke, how did you count it? And Luke would say, well, I saw 2 and 1. So you're telling me you saw 2 and 1. 2 and 1 is the same as 3. So this started at the very beginning of the year. The kids didn't know what it was called, nor did they understand that this was a plus sign or an equal sign, but they were already getting exposed to it and they were learning to see numbers in a very different way. Some kids told me, oh, well, I just looked at it and was able to say 3. So it's them being able to talk about how they're seeing numbers. And then I would do it again with the first couple of the first few cards. And we would still continue to talk about how they're seeing some of those numbers. And what's really nice is once you start to get up into the teens, they're really able to kind of have a better understanding of how numbers work, how you can group and visualize numbers, so that they're saying, oh, well, 17, it's 7. It's a 7 and a 10, 7 and 10 makes 17. Or they're looking at it as, oh, it's 8 and 8, 8 and 8 makes 16. They're already starting to see some of those patterns because of this, because you're introducing this from day 1. In the upper grades, it looks just a little bit different, because if you were in 3rd grade, you could very easily say, give them that, and you would have them try to figure it out all in their head without having to tell you or write anything down. The idea is that this is helping with some of that mental math as well. So I can talk a little bit more about this later on, but I just wanted to give you guys an example of this and how I did this. I have a sample one of these that you could use up in my store that you can go and check out. So you can download that and try it out in your classroom and see if you enjoy it and like it, and if it's working, if it would benefit you in some ways. But even if you're pulling small groups and you're not doing it as a whole group, this is still just a really great way to warm up your group before you're actually getting into the lesson itself. So I highly recommend doing some type of number talks. Try it out. It's phenomenal. We did it every single day for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we were done and we moved right on. But this was a great thing that I used in my classroom. I saw my students grow from it. I saw that they were starting to observe numbers in certain ways, so they were already looking for those number combinations. So it was fantastic. I enjoyed it. And then I will definitely share out some more information about number talks and how you can implement some of those in some of the upper grades as well. So number talk. I hope you enjoyed this little lesson that I gave you on number talk. So I am gonna go ahead and end my vlog here. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye.